So I'm Julie Sampson. I'm the director of the Scheinfeld Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation here at Santa Barbara City College. And actually, this is a really awesome event because we are kicking off our National Entrepreneurship Month, in which we honor entrepreneurs past, present, future. This is a national movement all through the month of November. So let's start it here. All of you are entrepreneurial in some way, either past, present, future, something that you're anticipating. And we want to honor all of you, so let's kick this off in the right way and just give each other a hand. We are the ones that are changing the world, yes! So the Scheinfeld Center is all about supporting you in your entrepreneurial endeavors, whatever they might be, whether that's to start your own business or work entrepreneurial within a business that you're employed by. We started the Get REAL Accelerator this summer, and the founders that you will see pitching today went through the accelerator, a 6-month program with customized startup support tailored to their needs. They focused on 6-month milestones. They closed skill gaps. They navigated common startup challenges. They expanded their professional networks. They attained seed funding, and this accelerator was open to previous winners of the Scheinfeld New Venture Challenge. And so I want to show you our lineup. The reason that we brought this about was because we have the experiential academic program. We have enterprise launch, where students launch a product or service in a single semester. The New Venture Challenge, and a bunch of support that all of that rests on, including our student community internships, our events that we do, our no-cost business consulting, and the makerspace that we have here on campus. But there was a gap because at the end of the New Venture Challenge, we found our students are still needing support, and that's where the Get REAL Accelerator comes in with that tailored support. We wouldn't be here, though, if it wasn't for the collaborations that we have within the community. And we would like to recognize that the SBCC Foundation donated the $10,000 that these students are competing for today. That will go to one of the founders. And we're also very thankful for the Santa Barbara Chamber of Commerce, who is donating a year membership to the winner, and also Impact Hub, who has been generous to donate a month of membership there to actually all of the founders that participated in the Get REAL Accelerator. So, plus, okay, there's this opportunity. In National Entrepreneurship Month, we recognize that there are needs that startups have, and really, we've heard the phrase before, it takes a village. All of you have gifts and talent, you have skills, and being able to share those with those that are rising up, that maybe don't have that level of skill, that they're needing to work through a certain thing with their business. You know, we wanted to provide an opportunity for you to reach out and to be able to provide some support no matter where you're at. I mean, we have the foundation, the generous grant from the foundation, but there's also mentoring, helping with any kind of business skills, whether it's videotaping, marketing, you name it. Startups can use it. And so we have actually a drop box at the check-in table outside. So if you, as you watch the pitches, if you feel compelled to maybe reach out to a certain founder and offer something, or to offer the founders in general, from what you see today, there's the opportunity to do that, or you can just talk with them directly because they'll be outside during the break. And I gotta say, students, I hope you won't consider yourself that you don't have anything to offer. Actually, in the conversations during our learning labs, there was a lot of need to reach out to students and get your input and support because you are very technologically inclined, you know, which can be very helpful. So please, if there's something that you feel compelled to share with any of the founders, please go ahead and feel that you're a part of the equation as well. So we rely a lot on collaboration within the community, and the MIT Enterprise Forum is one of the collaborations that we have that allows students like you to network and get very good technological and entrepreneurial cutting-edge knowledge and connections. And this happens every month, and we are very fortunate actually to have Matthew Stotz, who serves as president of the MIT Forum with us. He is also serving as a shark, but let's go ahead and welcome him and give him a hand. Thank you. Because of our regional coordinator in global trade, I'm able to offer no-cost stipends to any students who want to attend these, and there's the QR code that my interns taught me to get savvy on, and now they're over all of the marketing materials. So you can use QR codes to follow or just talk with us out at the desk. So what is our roadmap today? So we are going to do this welcome that we're doing. We are going to hear from Gary Kravitz on what angel investors look for, and that'll give you really good background as you watch the pitches today to understand what's going on in the investor's mind and kind of look at things from that mindset. It will be a good experience for you to think critically in that way. And then we will go ahead with the pitching, and the judges will have time to deliberate, and during that time we are going to clear out and actually go onto the patio where we'll have refreshments for you. And we're very fortunate to have Sylvia Franco-Comer of Casa de Comer Salsa and her husband Sean. They participated in the accelerator and have an awesome product, and we're so fortunate to have them sharing that with you today. So please enjoy that. And there's cookies too, and water. Okay, and then we'll come back in. The winner will be announced, and feedback will be given, and then we can continue networking out on the patio. So these are the 4 founders who participated in the Get Real Accelerator, and they all made very incredible progress during the accelerator. I would like to point out that they were there as former winners of the New Venture Challenge, and what's really important here is that this would not have happened if we didn't have the collaboration with Women's Economic Ventures, who is now operating the Spirit of Entrepreneurship Awards. And so since 2011, the SOE has raised more than $87,000 for students like you, right? And this also goes to high school entrepreneurs too who compete. So we are very fortunate to have on our Shark panel today Kathy Odell, who is the up-and-coming CEO of Weave. So thank you so much for being here, Kathy. Yeah. Okay, so so those are the 4 founders. Now, I would like to recognize one of those founders. You will find that there are 3 competing today, and actually Sylvia of Casa de Comer Salsa did not submit an entry, and she is here today nonetheless to share her product with you and her story, and we'll be hearing a lot more from her because she has some interesting, this is called the Get Real Accelerator, right? So she has some Get Real stories about what her journey has been, and so we would like to, so look forward for that in our social media and on our website. But I just wanted to honor her and point out some of the things that she attained during the accelerator, as shown here. So When I talked to Sylvia at the beginning of the accelerator, I think she was in 7 stores, and she, in order to scale their production and distribution, they improved their packaging to expand their shelf life, and they are working with a co-packer now, Baba, and they also are distributing now with DPI, Specialty Foods, and they increased their production capacity from 1,000 units per month to 5,000. And look at in 6 months. In 6 months, the sale revenue increased actually in the last 5 months, 103%. Where's Sylvia? Sylvia, can you stand up? Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being such a strong participant in the accelerator and showing us how hustle and passion goes. We appreciate it. So next, we also are here because we had awesome mentors in the accelerator, and I would really like, if you're here in the room, could you stand up so that we can honor you? I know we have one over here, and yes, over here, Eric, Robin, excellent, Gary, John. Please give them a huge hand. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for so the mentors worked one-on-one. They were paired with a particular founder, but they actually worked very collaboratively and helped a number of founders in the accelerator. So thank you so much, really appreciate it. And of course, we talked about the sponsors that made this all happen, the awards that are going on today, but also these are the businesses represented by our mentors that participated, so we want to honor them as well. Thank you so much. So before we get going, as I said, we are going to hear from one of the Get Real mentors, Gary Kravitz, and we're so fortunate that Gary is with us to share with you what do investors look at in the startups that they invest in. And Gary serves as the Central Coast Director of Tech Coast Angels, where he evaluates applications of Tech Coast Angels funding and assists companies in their presentations. He also provides introductions to several angel and venture funding networks. He serves as a SCORE mentor and has served our business community as well as our students in amazing ways, including in areas of employee relations, HR, financing, management, startups, planning, venture capital, and technology, only to name a few. What he's going to do today is hop up here and go ahead and get you savvy about what the investors are going to be looking for. Thank you, Gary. Please come up.
So you may have heard the term angel investors in the past. Some of you haven't. And angel investors basically are individual investors who are between the funding that you are putting in out of your own pocket or from friends and family who are giving you money just because they want to support you, but not necessarily because they expect to get rich. And the other end of the spectrum people get money from is from venture capitalists who are looking for companies. Usually they like to see somebody who's going to be worth 1, 2, or 300 million by the time they get sold, so the venture capital company can make many hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're not too interested in spending their time on the thousands and hundreds of thousands of companies that are starting up but who really haven't proven themselves. So the angel investors are looking for people who are making some progress, but they're ready to get them to the next step, to the point where they get a real company going. And one of the ways that this competition has been structured is very similar to how companies present to angel investors, people who are not representing a billion-dollar fund, and people who aren't their friends and family who want to wish them good luck, but people who are looking for interesting companies and are willing to invest a little bit of their money, knowing it's a big risk. There's most of the people who are considered angel investors are high net worth individuals, and except for one particular exception, companies are not allowed to even solicit funds from individuals who are not high net worth individuals. It's against the Securities and Exchange Commission. A couple of years ago, President Obama started a new plan where there are online companies who allow companies to go out and present their wares online to crowdfunding, who will get small amounts of stock, can invest a small amount of money, and can raise a limited amount of money from these sources. The whole idea of getting accredited investors is to keep women's and women who are trying to raise families and poor people from putting all their savings into something and then not have anything to live on. They want to make sure that investors are people who can afford to lose the money, because in most startups, that's what happens. They lose the money. The angel investors, besides offering money, can offer introductions to other people. Maybe it's customers, maybe it's suppliers, maybe it's additional investors. And after a while, when things get a little further along, they can also make introductions to venture capitalists. The way that angel investors work is they don't get paid for helping the company. They take some stock in the company, and they provide money, and they provide some advice. Depends on what the company needs in the way of advice, but they're usually there, since they've already got money invested, they're very motivated to help out the company, so they're people with lots of experience that can help the companies grow. If an investor or group of investors who are working together are investing something like 20% or 15% or 25% of the investment into the company, they might expect a board seat. Some cases they don't want to even accept a board seat because they don't have the time to do it. The typical investment from the accredited investors, the people with a high net worth, are typically $10,000 to $2 million. The $2 million end is usually not one individual. It's possible it could be one, but usually there's networks of angels, like Tech Coast Angels. We have 350 members, and we may have 30 members investing all together, perhaps with $1 million, but we very seldom see any one investor invest that much. And they like to share the risk, and also the investors like to see other investors there, so there's more resources to call on. Now, it may seem that they're being greedy because they want 5 to 20% return on investment. That's what they're looking for ideally. The reason they do that is because 9 out of 10 of the companies they invest in never give them any money. They fail. So if 1 out of 10 gives them money, and that one gives them 10 times return, they break even. If they're lucky, they'll do better than break even. But they're not being guilty. They're just trying to make up for all the losses in the companies they try to help that don't work out. So what the angel investors are looking for is, first and foremost, they're introduced to a founder. And the first thing they do is look at who's running this company, what's their capability, what's their motivation. In a lot of cases, it's somebody who has an idea but really has no idea how to make it into a company. So they're looking for someone who has a vision, a passion, and commitment to the company. And if they get a little bit of investment money, they're going to be putting all their efforts into it, and they'll be getting some of their friends and relatives to help out, and additional people to go on the management team. A lot of times when a company is just starting out, the management team are people who are not working full time. They're people who are just getting advice, maybe for stock, maybe for a small amount of payment. Once they get some investment money, then some of them might join the team. The other thing they're looking for is a company that has scalability, which means they can grow quickly. So they get this money, and they hope in a year or two at most, the company's actually able to support itself unless they need some additional money for even increased growth. The bottom line of what they're looking for, if they're doing investment, is to make money at the end of the investment period. So they're looking for a company that will sell to make enough money for the founders and also pay back additional profits to the investors. And the way they can determine how much they would get with a reasonable sales price is that they want the price that they pay for the stock to be low enough so if the company does exit, there'd be a reasonable amount of that money that comes up out of the sale that would go to the investors. So that's sort of the bottom line. But to get a little bit more detailed, here are some of the specific things in a presentation to angel investors that you should be thinking about. And usually this is done in a PowerPoint presentation. It might be done with a casual conversation with an investor. It could be in a business plan outline or a very short business plan. But these are the specifics of what angel investors are looking for, which are pretty much the same as what venture capitalists are looking for, except the angels are willing to take bigger risks and invest at a much earlier time. So the first thing is, who is your company? But the main thing they're looking for at the beginning to get their attention is, what are you doing? A lot of people will present, we're the best thing in the world, or we're going to make lots of money, and you have no idea what they're even doing. So they want to know what the problem is they're there to solve. And that's the way a company starts up and makes money, is to have a problem they found and a way to solve it. Sometimes the solutions are just simply marketing and business solutions. Sometimes they're technology solutions. Investors are looking for what the features and benefits are of the product or service offered, so that they can see why a customer might be interested as opposed to what's currently available. The next thing is a business model, which sometimes is rather complicated, and that's, how is a business going to make money? There's some people that start websites. They give away the website information for free, and unfortunately that doesn't bring any money to pay back the investments. So they're trying to find out how you're planning to make money and how you're going to get to the point where you're big enough to be worthwhile. They want to see a presentation, and each of these are like maybe one PowerPoint presentation slide. What the marketing and opportunity is, how big it is, how you're going to do sales, how you're going to do marketing. Next question is, if it's such a great opportunity, why isn't other companies doing the same thing? So what is the competition? How do you compare with the competition? What is the barrier to entry, which means why can't someone else do what you're doing tomorrow and be just as good as you are? So the barriers sometimes are lack of knowledge by other possible competitors, or it may be first to market. The next thing that they look at, once you get their interest with these first 7 things, is what are your financial projections? Because your financial projections will give an idea of how there's potential for that investor to make money. They're also looking at the management team, and as I explained before, a lot of times at an early stage, there may be 1 or 2 people working in the company, and there may be other people who are outside advisors that are part of the team. And so they're looking at the whole team to see how the various aspects are being handled. They're going to look at your timeline for developing your products. They're going to look at milestones and use of funds, how long it's going to take you to grow, and what the investment money they're giving you will be used for and how it's going to be beneficial. The next thing they're going to look is how to validate the market. And this is pre-sales. They're looking for potential suppliers, potential users, potential publicity in the media that shows that there's people who are interested in what you have. And the last thing is, how are you going to make me money? And that relates to how much of the percentage ownership of the company they're going to get, or how much money they're putting in. Then they look at what the potential of the company is at 5 or 7 years when it's sold or go public, and how much that would bring back to them. And again, they're looking for that 10 to 20 times return on investment to make up for all the companies that lose money. So that's the bottom line, very close summary, but now you have some idea of what angel investors are. So you could talk to me during the break.
Thank you so much, Gary. Okay, so are you ready to get on with the competition? Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, so first of all, what we're going to need is some sharks. So luckily, we have them right up front here. What I'd like to do is introduce you to them. Okay, so starting with, in alphabetical order, with Tyler Dobson. So Tyler is Senior Vice President of Commercial and Technology Banking with Wells Fargo Bank. Tyler has over 17 years of finance experience and manages a range of technology, commercial, and industrial-based companies. He helps both emerging and later stage companies with debt and equity capital, as well as providing scalable financial tools to improve treasury management and payment processing, automation, and efficiency. He earned his BA in business economics from the University of California. Tyler, thank you so much for being here. Let's give him a hand. We're also very fortunate to have Julie Henley McNamara, who is an operating partner at Entrada Ventures. Julie has been involved with a number of startups and technology companies throughout her career, and she had product roles with eToys, Rent.com, IAC, and Demand Media, which is now Leaf Group. Julie left Demand Media a year after their IPO and shifted into consulting and advisory roles before joining Entrada Ventures. She has a BS in business from Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo. Thank you for being here, Julie. Now, I mentioned Kathy previously. She is CEO-elect of Women's Economic Ventures and a serial entrepreneur who founded her first company, Medical Concepts, Inc., in 1985. The company was acquired by Carl Storz Endoscopy in 1990, and Kathy was the founding CEO of Inogen, Inc. Other entrepreneurial companies Kathy has participated in include Agility Communications, NutriHealth Partners, and Innovium Products. From 1998 to 2012, Kathy served as director of Pacific Capital Bank Corp. Pacific Capital was acquired by Union Bank in 2012, and in addition to her work with Women's Economic Ventures, Kathy also serves on 2 nonprofit boards, the UCSB Economic Forecast Project and the Sustainable Change Alliance, which is a community-based impact investing firm. That's a lot. We're so happy to have you here, Kathy. And I also mentioned Matthew as well, but let's hear a little bit more about him. He has been investing in consumer and enterprise technology for the past 9 years and is currently focused on technology solutions for social and environmental impact. Matthew is the founder of Tenor Partners, a tech marketing and VC advisory that has worked with over 90 tech management teams from startup to IPO and helped 24 venture capital firms with branding, deal flow, and fundraising. He is a lecturer at UC Santa Barbara's TMP program, chair of the MIT Enterprise Forum of the Central Coast, and vice chair of the Sustainable Change Alliance, a community-focused impact investment group. Thank you, Matthew. Okay, so this is how it's going to go. Now we have the sharks. We need some founders up here. There's 3 founders competing. The way it works is they're going to deliver an 8-minute pitch. We have our timer up here. And founders, you will be able to see the timer as you are talking so that you'll know where you're at. If you finish before that 8 minutes, that's fine. If the 8-minute buzzer goes off and you're not finished, you can complete that non-run-on sentence. And then we'll go into the next segment, which is 8 minutes of questioning from our sharks. The sharks don't have to take all of that 8 minutes. They have up to 8 minutes. And again, if you will hear the timer go off, and if you're not finished, if you could just finish that line of questioning where you're at, and then we'll move on from there. Okay, I'm going to be the one that's keeping us on time. Any questions about any of that? Okay, great. So then what we'd like to do is move on to our first founder who will be presenting, and that is Heather Lukart of Peregrine 8. Please welcome Heather. And timers, are you ready? Okay, whenever you're ready, Heather.
Hello, I'm Heather Lukart. I'm here with Peregrine 8 Travel Gear. Our mission is to empower travelers to be adventurous, brave, and curious, and to encourage them to venture off the beaten path and explore more using our travel products that provide added safety and comfort. Travel is popular. Economy leisure travelers make up 94% of all airline passengers. In 2016, over 35 million Americans traveled overseas, and that number continues to grow. That's a 7% increase from the year prior. With the ongoing increases in luggage fees, travelers are leaning towards the most efficient luggage possible. And as adventure travel and budget flight options continue to grow, the associated level of comfort is decreasing, even as the opportunities to explore off-the-beaten-path locations is increasing. Our target market traveler is the 20 to 35-year-old graduate, student or graduate millennial. They place a high value on travel and seeking new and unique experiences, and they value and understand the personal and social impact that their travel can have upon themselves and their communities, as well as those of other cultures. Within this group, our niche demographic is heritage travelers and transformative travelers, two rapidly growing trends in recent years that require traveling off the beaten path. Heritage travelers are looking to connect with their ancestry. Since 2014, the number of travelers utilizing Airbnb to trace their roots has increased by 500%, and 78% of these trips are taken in pairs or solo, suggesting they are introspective journeys. Similarly, transformative travelers are looking for experiences that broaden perspectives and lead to personal growth. A recent study found that on a scale of 1 to 10, over half of the travelers surveyed ranked the importance of transformative travel as 7 or higher and place an increasing value on this type of travel. The central to both of these experiences is broadening one's perspectives to encompass places, circumstances, and that may have previously seemed forbiddingly foreign or inaccessible. Travel to these off-the-beaten-path locations can present challenges to comfort and safety. Of the 50 travelers we interviewed in our target market, all agreed that at some point they found themselves having to sleep in an awkward or uncomfortable space. And almost all mentioned concerns about the safety of their belongings while sleeping in an unsecured place, such as an unexpected airport layover. They complained that their current solutions, rolled up sweaters or neck pillows, are too bulky, awkward, or generally lacking in comfort. Travel involves risk. For me personally, the catalytic story was from my sister, who was a traveling student while sleeping in a train station in France, had everything stolen from her, including her passport, except for the small case that was underneath her head while she was sleeping. As an avid off-the-beaten-path solo female traveler myself, I knew there had to be a more secure and more comfortable way to travel. Our solution to these problems, the Falcon Travel Bag. Our introductory product is a carry-on size bag that also replaces your travel pillow. It can be worn as a shoulder bag or crossbody bag or as a backpack, and includes secure pockets for safe storage of personal items, lowering the risk of theft not only while traveling, but also while sleeping, as our unique design includes a removable inflatable lining. This offers added padding against hard or delicate items in your luggage while traveling, and also, when removed, can be used as a neck pillow, lumbar support, seat cushion, or even a ground mat for sleeping in a pinch. The entire bag can be flipped inside out, exposing the soft surface of the inflatable pad, allowing the traveler to rest more comfortably and on their belongings while sleeping when needed, reducing the risk of theft while sleeping. Our last prototype received 90% validation from our surveyed customer base, and the newest iteration, updated based on the feedback we received, is now ready for manufacturing with additional safety features, including recessed interlocking zipper pulls, a security cable to attach to fixtures, and anti-slash shoulder straps. All travelers that we surveyed confirmed that what was important to them was having luggage that provided comfort and safety without loss of convenience. Our most direct competitors, the general regular travel pillow, and bag makers such as Osprey, Swiss Gear, and Timbuk2 satisfy one or two of these needs, but not all of them. Only the Falcon satisfies all of these customer needs in one, and we are first to market. Our market strategy is modeled after the continuing success of past crowd-funded travel products. We'll recoup our startup expenses, prove market viability, and gather feedback by launching with our crowdfunding campaign in February. We will use Instagram and Facebook to organically grow a curated online co-op travel community of like-minded travelers who are encouraged to share their travel tips and recommendations. We will use these social media platforms to drive customers to our campaigns and subsequently our e-commerce websites, including our storefront as well as Amazon. Our goal is to create a strong brand presence that is synonymous with impeccable customer service, reliable quality products, and global responsibility via our commitment to using recycled and sustainable materials. Once we have attained our first-year financial goal of 2,000 units, we will begin the process of launching our next product, a full-size backpack that utilizes the same value features and donates 1% of net as charitable contributions. Our long-term strategy is expansion via turning our competitors into retail channels as we expand the product line, or exit by being acquired by like-minded companies such as REI. Our funding comes from $7,000 from friends and family and my own personal savings, plus the $3,500 in winnings from our last two pitch competitions. This has gone towards prototyping, the preliminary patent, building out the landing page, and product design. We are on schedule to launch in February of 2020, prior to which the remaining funds, including the $10,000 from this winnings, will be dedicated to securing the trademark and final patent, building out our e-commerce website, setting up the business entity, finalizing the manufacturing prototype and setup, and our pre-campaign social media advertising campaign, as the campaign management teams we have spoken to suggest a minimum of $10,000, and they also require a retainer. Our financial projections confirm our ability to start manufacturing after our minimum crowdfunding goals have been met. We are currently investigating Vietnam as a more aligned option, but as of now, we predict our COGS, based on quotes from several Chinese manufacturers, to be $35 per unit, with a retail price of $119, allowing our discounted crowdfunding price of $89 to still yield a margin of 60%. Our break-even projections state a minimum of $34,000, so this is our crowdfunding goal. However, we expect a much stronger response based on our marketing strategy, so we will set a stretch goal of $75,000, which will allow us to manufacture at a lower price point. I myself am a passionate and experienced transformative traveler with a background in marketing and operations. All members of our team have extensive knowledge of small business startups, as well as an entrepreneurial spirit. We are adventurous perfectionists, and we believe in the positive power of exploration, because travel is important. It can help build our social and communication skills, expand our creativity, independence, and confidence, improve our flexibility and tolerance of uncertainty, and create a greater global understanding of all cultures. I myself would not be on the stage now were it not for my background in travel, and I have to share that. Our goal at Peregrinate is to create a brand that presents socially responsible values, exploration, and growth, and with 10,000, we can take off. That's the easy bit.
When you're ready, judges.
Well, great job
Thank
presenting. I have to say, you have a real personal connection to the product, and that's always really important. And I'll share a little bit. I have had that personal pain myself. I had, as a young student traveling on Eurail, fell asleep in the cabin and lost a few very precious few dollars left that I had to call home, which really kind of ruined the whole trip for me. So
Yeah, try calling home now.
Yeah, exactly. So what I really wanted to understand better was beyond this niche that you're focused on, what do you think the opportunity is in this category for a new brand?
There is a ton of room for growth in travel just because the industry is so large and there are so many people doing it. And as it becomes more affordable, there are even more people coming on board, and younger people that previously couldn't afford to necessarily go to Portugal. And now they can get a trip to Portugal for $100, but they're going to places that may not necessarily have a really strong hotel system or a strong transportation system. So a lot of the times, me personally, I just got back from Portugal, and I rented a car, but if I hadn't been able to rent a car, I'd be taking buses here and there. And even in the rental car, I ended up homeless a couple nights because when I booked into the hotel, the infrastructure isn't there, and I didn't have a hotel. It literally didn't exist. So I ended up sleeping in the car on my pillow, which thankfully I had brought, of course. So, and then adjusted a couple things based on that. So I think that there is a lot of room for expansion for all generations, for all different people, even especially airline travelers that can use it as a neck pillow.
Yeah, the trends sound really compelling. How about the actual market for bags? Do you have a sense of how many are purchased annually?
Yes.
And
So
where
it's one of the largest markets in textiles, and the backpack industry increases by 3.5% every year. They have a large, I think it's 35% of the market is travel bags, travel backpacks specifically. So, and it is a growing market. Every year there are more people getting into it, but there's also a higher demand for it. We believe our product is specific. We believe it is a category maker that no one else is currently doing. They can do it, but because we'll have the stronger brand presence, people will be encouraged to buy from us.
Okay. I've always liked the product, seen it before. I think it's a great idea, and like Matthew, I had a similar experience on a train in Germany, fell asleep, got my passport stolen, and all my credit cards. So
Oh.
I can certainly see the need for it. What, you said you're filing for a patent.
I'm
okay?
sorry?
You said there on your notes you said something about a patent.
Yes.
Okay. So you believe that there is a patent available
We
for a
believe
specific feature set?
we believe there is a design patent available 100%. Whether there is a utility patent is something that we will look into once we've really finalized all of the details of it. Unfortunately, with textiles, the reality is that if you move a zipper, it's a different design.
Right.
So really anyone can just move a zipper. And even so, your patent is only as strong as the money you have to put behind it in court, and large companies tend to have more money. So in my experience from talking to other creators, cease and desist is really all you can generally do. So paying for that patent, especially if you're paying worldwide, is incredibly expensive and may not necessarily, those funds we believe can be better put into building the brand strength.
I agree with you, actually. That was why I asked.
Oh,
Okay. So your backpack serves other purposes, like it does replace a travel pillow. What's the average cost for someone to buy a lightweight backpack like that plus a travel pillow?
Depending on the cost. So you can get ones off of Amazon for $20. If you want something that's sustainable, uses sustainable materials and has a brand behind it, it's around $120, which is why we're pricing it there. And we feel we have more value because of the pillow as well. The pillows can range from $10 to $40. The really good ones that have been crowdfunded that are really successful tend to be around the $35 to $40 range. So compiled together from our target market, they would be spending about $165.
Okay. Crowdfunding. Your goals for crowdfunding are actually pretty modest.
Yes.
Okay. Why select that?
Because the $35,000 is the minimum for us to manufacture what we need from that run and manufacture additional product to sell on Amazon and cover our startup expenses. It's my understanding that when you set a lower goal on crowdfunding, once you surpass that goal, you are then pushed much more on the website. So the earlier you pass the goal, the more likely you are to get more coverage and actually reach a higher goal.
Okay,
So the lower you can set the goal, the better. But because Kickstarter is an all or nothing, Indiegogo has tiers, but we want to do Kickstarter. We want to set the lowest goal to make sure that we can meet that, and then once that's met within day 1 or 2, we'll be featured on their front page.
Okay. So it sounds like you have talked to some people who have conducted successful crowdfunding
Yes,
campaigns?
yeah.
Because we have a couple people here in town.
Quite a
who are
few in Santa
masters.
Barbara.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Tyler, what's your
Great pitch, by the way.
Thank
Very Very clear, very concise, great product. And you said you're currently manufacturing in Vietnam?
We're looking into Vietnam. We've looked into China. We've got quotes from China. However, most of the people that I speak to, most of the mentors I've spoken to do tech. So the ones that do textiles say that Vietnam has the same quality,
Yeah.
and they have the same infrastructure, and they care the same amount. They have the same certifications that you would need.
Right.
They're expected now, but they're cheaper.
And how would you be thinking about quality control if you were looking at China as far as maintaining your products?
So both ways the product would be shipped to us so we can test it. Our intention is to test every 15th model, 15th piece, take it out, test it, test another 15th piece, just to make sure that all 1,000 of the first run are good. But also we're allowed 8 different mock-ups. So we can, within those 8, we can make changes and make sure the quality control is there.
And as far as the sustainable materials, have you thought about where you're going to be sourcing this from going forward and what you could
Yes.
scale with?
Right, right. So, and there is an issue with scale if you choose a particular thing to back, right? So if it's used sails from Vietnamese boats, that there's a limited number of that available.
Right.
But we're intending to do not one particular thing. So it's not necessarily recycled, but non-virgin materials and sustainably sourced. We have companies that can source it for us, and the factories have also offered to source it. And those materials come with their own certification. So regardless of the manufacturer's certification, the fabrics have to come with a certification. And it is more expensive.
And
But we
then-
believe that our market will pay once that's what they want. We know that that's what they want.
And then as far as product design, is it you or do you have a team that's working on the engineering design elements of this as you continue to extend your product line?
Right, so I did the initial design. The tech pack you have in front of you is from a designer that worked with me hand in hand to move a couple things around and just get it, because she makes bags for a living, just kind of streamline that. And now the manufacturer that I'm speaking with, or one of them, says that they will also do prototyping on their side. So they will revamp it to be what they need for manufacturing, which is the expense for manufacturing setup, which is a little steep, because that actually gets it to the point where it can be manufactured and it's the most efficient design it can be. Because sometimes moving a zipper saves you $1.
Yeah.
So they're going to revamp it as well.
Okay, thank you.
I thought you did a great job. My judges are great here that are next to me because they asked a lot of the questions I had, so we're out of time, but you did a wonderful job. So thank you, and I totally see the need, so I wish I had it when I was traveling
I was
in
going to say,
college.
did you get pickpocketed?
Yeah, I've had a few things stolen, so yeah.
Hello, Mr. Dobson, Mrs. Henley, Mrs. Odell, and Mr. Stotts. My name is Jacob Zander, and this is my brand called Footsoles. So my footsoles are made to Converse to give your Converse comfort, support, and cushioning, and also inspire you to live a life you want to relive. And so you're probably wondering, why just Converse? So today, Converse sells over 270,000 pairs of the classic Chuck Taylors daily, and this is a market that hasn't been tapped into yet. And throughout the past years, Converse has been growing steadily and still continues to grow. So this is a classic brand that has stood the test of time, and as of 2019, it marks its 100th year of the Chuck Taylor has been around. And so right now, we plan to acquire 1% of the Converse market within the next 3 years, which will equate to 14.7 million in revenue. And throughout the past 3 months, we've been learning through Facebook and Instagram ads that our core audience are women ages 18 to 24 and 25 to 34 who are in college and then also after college. And the reason they will buy Footsoles is because they love our whole message to live a life you would want to relive. And they also want to be comfy while they're going to work, they're in college, and they're also going to concerts and music festivals. So for example, in addition to the benefit of the support for their feet, they are buying the Footsoles because they want to be comfortable while they are enjoying life. And so our Footsoles provide arch support and cushioning, are made to each size in Converse, and also slip in with no hassle. So for example, I'm a size 8.5 in Converse, and you simply pull the Footsoles out, and then grab your pair of Converse, and they just slip in super easy with no hassle, and now you're walking on a cloud. And so when I asked my target demographic what they wanted from my foot soles, they said they wanted it to fit into their Converse, they could pick it according to their shoe size, it would provide arch support and cushioning, and as you can see, none of my competitors can do this. The foot sole sales strategy includes 2 sales channels. Our wholesale channel includes 3 target retailers, which include Urban Outfitters, Tilly's, and ASOS. Right now, we are currently in conversation with Urban Outfitters, which I had a phone call with one of the buyers with last night, and if you have any questions about that, you can ask me in the Q&As after. And once they have placed an order with us, we will move to Tilly's and then ASOS, who I have direct connections with, and we will see a purchase order from ASOS and Tilly's within the next 3 months. And so, right here, this is an example of how the foot soles will be displayed within Urban Outfitters. And so they'll be displayed together with the Converse and the foot soles. And then also on Urban Outfitters' online website, it'll be displayed as when you buy a pair of Converse, it'll say, we also suggest that people also buy foot soles for Converse. And our marketing strategy includes creating organic content on all these social platforms. And we will also be running ads on all these platforms. And we'll be market testing and driving traffic to our website. Since April 12, 2019, we have sold 700 foot soles, and 63% of that has been in-person sales of me selling everything, and the feedback so far on all those in-person sales has been incredible. I asked these customers like what they wanted to change from the product, and they said nothing, they loved it. So all I need now is more capital to get the product out there, because it just needs a little push to get it out into the world. Our year-to-date startup financials include our revenue with my personal investment of $24,000, the previous winnings, and then my sales to date, which is $10,000. And on the expenses side, it has the production, my legal, marketing, shipping, travel, and equipment, which comes out to $40,000, $395. And as you can see, I haven't been taking any of that money. It's all been going directly back into the company. And for the year to come, starting today, we'll be using the 10K anticipated winnings for $1,800 in legal expenses, $2,000 for our Facebook and Instagram marketing campaign, the Vans foot soles molds, $880 to expedite production for retailers, and also we're going to start production of more foot soles so we're in stock and ready to fulfill these orders from the retailers that we are anticipating. And the anticipated sales of the year moving forward is $220,000, and the production that will need that will be costing $62,000 in inventory. If you have any questions about the Vans foot soles, please ask me in the Q&As after. And so right now, my team consists of my consultants, who my legal advisor is Eric Zander, and my business operation consultants is Gordon and Todd. My wholesale connection is Trace Riordan. My marketing is Robin, and my SEO marketing who's helping me there is Eric Peterson. And on the foot sole side, we have my 3 interns and my 2 part-time contractors who have been helping me with my bookkeeping and also my IP attorney. And to conclude my presentation, I wanted to conclude with this review from Katie. And she says, so comfortable. I've worn my Chucks every day since putting these lovely cloud-like dreams on, and they're just as comfortable as when I first got them. Buying them for my family for Christmas. So why this review is important is because it's number 1, direct, it's a repeat buyer, and then she's also buying gifts for her family and her friends. So thank you so much, and feel your soul. Thank you.
I actually do have a very uncomfortable pair of Vans, so I'm curious to know about that. But
yeah. So when I've been selling these in person,
yeah,
people come up to me. They're like, if they don't wear Converse, like, well, do you make them for Vans? I'm like, yeah, I have prototypes and all of that. And I'm like, I didn't think that either when I was first going into it. But there are people who wear Vans who don't have the comfy cush ones, and who are like, I just want to put these in my classic Vans. And so that's where we're going next, is because that's what people are asking for, and so that's the next growth step of it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, I'm kind of curious to know along those lines. Do you have to do a specific? Because My real question that I was thinking about was just the scalability across different product lines. Do you have to do a different mold, you know what I mean, per shoe, or is this something that you can create something that's applicable across brand? Or I'm kind of curious, like, where you want to go with it, and or is it so specific that you have to make it per shoe?
So the plan with it is to keep it with Converse and Vans, possibly Doc Martens, to see like we can test that when we get there. But basically classic shoes that people love and they are wearing every day. And so basically it's like it's keeping that the brand all tied together, because all those Converse and Vans are really pretty similar, and it's the same like target demographic. And so we're not say if we made a insole for like Nikes or something, then Nikes are already comfortable, and then it would kind of take away the branding of it, and it wouldn't be. There's so many Nikes out there that it wouldn't work super well. And so that's what I've learned, is because the soles just go on top of the soles that are already in your Converse. And so you don't have to remove anything. And that's the Converse and Vans are the only two shoes that you can do that with. And they're like one of the two biggest classic shoe companies like right now. So,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great brand. Really love the way you're talking about filling your soul and working off a lot of the puns from shoes. Really a question about how you're going to manage the relationship with these big brands. So my understanding is Chuck Taylors are owned by Nike, is that correct?
Yes.
And Vans was also recently acquired by a very large company, I believe also owns North Face, right? So how do you plan to deal with any kinds of infringement on their brands, or how are you going to kind of walk that tightrope?
So I've had all my attorneys look at it. It's all IP safe. And so Chuck Taylor, all my packaging, like as you see on my packaging, it says For Your Chucks. And so For Your Chucks, like Chucks isn't trademarked, and so we can use Chucks. And then on the Vans packaging, it'll say For Your, and then Vans in small writing, because you can do that if you can put a trademark on a box as long as it's small enough. And so as long as it's not like drawing attention like right when someone sees it. So like for example, before I had that printed, I had Chuck Taylors in big bold letters where the For Your Chucks is, and that would have been a no-no. So that's where I came in with that.
Maybe a quick follow-up on brand, because you talk about the Urban Outfitters channel, and it seems to me that this is a great brand for the Instagram and the direct-to-consumer. Talk about your channel strategy and why you're doing both in-store and...
So the goal with Urban Outfitters is to drive awareness and help them spread the message out there. And the Urban has that cool branding to it too as well. And so with that, I'm going to use the three retailers to help push it, and then I can also drive my awareness will grow through that and drive it through social media. And that's where this next month is where I've been needing the funding a lot, mostly is through Facebook and Instagram ads. It's because I haven't been able to run enough ads to A/B test everything. And so with this capital, I could run all those A/B tests and figure out exactly the exact target demographics. So, yeah.
Actually, you should always consider both channels.
Oh, yeah,
all right?
yeah.
Okay, because it has been proven in online marketing that without a physical presence, it's much tougher to scale your brand beyond a certain point. The other thing that would make it tough to scale is I'm looking at your financials. Your marketing costs are incredibly low. I don't understand the shipping line. And I'm skipping all the things about the product because I actually like the product. I think that I think the product's a great idea. I have no idea why Converse and Vans or whatever, or Dr. Scholl's wouldn't do it, but I'm assuming there's enough room in the market for you because you're not violating anybody's patents. So when you look at these costs, now you have a zero for a survival paycheck. How do you survive?
I do, so on Sundays in LA, I do these little pop-up markets, and I sell handmade stuff I hand make, and then that supports me throughout my whole week.
Okay.
So.
But you're not going to build a company by not paying yourself or not paying your employees. So
not paying myself for the moment.
Okay.
Yes.
So so again, one of my concerns is looking at financials like these because I think that your company has an opportunity to scale. Is anybody getting paid right now?
No. Just my bookkeeper, and then when I pay him $200 a month to do all my bookkeeping, and then when I need legal advice, I use Judith Schelling for my legal advice.
Okay. The online sales number. What did you try in online? Because you had good luck when you're out talking individually to
Yeah.
people, but you do want to validate the market when there's no personal presence there. So online sales weren't that high?
So to
was it?
answer your question about the online marketing part, like when you said my marketing budget isn't big enough, it's because I haven't had the money to put my money in the marketing budget, because that's what my marketing budget is what I need the most, is for the $10,000. And so with what I haven't been able to do yet, as I haven't been able to A/B test enough ads, and you need about $2,000 to start out with that, so you can see what's really working. I found a couple ads that were working. That one that was working super well, and then I wasn't able to run it after that for some like IP reasons. I'll tell you the story on it. So I work at Trader Joe's 1 day a week, and I made an ad directly to everyone in the company of Trader Joe's nationwide, and I sent it out to everyone, and it did so well. I was selling so many foot soles, but then they said I couldn't run it because I was at Trader Joe's. So that's the story on
Interesting strategy.
So yeah, this is near and dear to my heart. I actually got married in a pair of Chuck Taylors. I'm no longer within your target demographic, but I still have several pair in my closet that I would wear more often if I knew about these.
Yeah.
A couple of comments about the financials, but first, have you tapped into the medical community as far as it being an orthotic or something to get an endorsement from a medical professional on how it could help from an ergonomic perspective or otherwise because of how flat Chuck Taylors are?
So the whole brand is the part of the brand, I don't know if you'll agree with this, but is my consumer, like kids are like 18 to 24 and then 25 to 34, they don't really want to hear about the medical benefits of it. That's kind of where Dr. Scholl's comes in, and that's what makes it kind of uncool. If that.
Okay. So Dr. Scholl's cool.
So that's kind of the reason with that.
That's right. Yeah, and just real quick, wearing the banker hat, because I believe in this, I would just spend a little bit more time on the financials, make them a little bit more believable.
Okay.
I think the margins might be a little out of whack, especially as you start to scale. So maybe pay more than $200 a month to a bookkeeper and really hone in on the financials, especially on the forecast.
Yeah, that sounds
great
good.
Job.
Did you guys? I did put in my executive summary if anyone brought Converse that they could try them. I'm not sure if anyone brought Converse.
And next up, we have Joe Datillo of Datillo Custom Leather Goods.
Right. Hello, everybody. My name is Giuseppe Datillo, and I'm the founder and craftsman of Datillo Custom Leather Goods. I'd like to begin by thanking the Scheinfeld Center and Julie Sampson for making this entire event possible and giving me the opportunity to participate. I'd also like to thank my personal mentor, John Richardson, for sticking with me through this whole process, as well as all the other mentors, for their knowledge and expertise was truly instrumental in our success. Now, the problem. In today's leather goods market, there's a vast array of products that all seem to look exactly the same. Now, I'm speaking to the women in the room here. How many of you would like to walk into a room and see 4 different women carrying the same exact bag as you? Not very many of you, I'd assume, and I know just how you can keep that from happening. Datillo Custom Leather Goods present a unique blend of modern design and traditional Western tooling that is unseen anywhere else on the marketplace today. Another thing that sets Datillo apart from the competition is that I'm blessed to come from a family who has a rich heritage in fashion. This dapper young man up here is my grandfather, Giuseppe, who I'm named after, who spent 35 years tailoring men's clothing in Anaheim as well as in my hometown of Hemet. He's the one that I draw much of my inspiration from, and I have adopted his original logo and artwork to my own business to represent the next generation of Datillo craftsmen. His 2 brothers were also involved in fashion. His brother Achille was a women's clothing designer. His brother Annunziato was the one who brought those designs to life. This tradition of Datillo men in fashion is one that I hold very near and dear to me, and I hope that I'll be able to make them proud by continuing and pursuing my craft. As I have implied before, there are many other makers on the market today, but none stand out like Datillo. Many of them utilize cheap, flimsy leather and thin thread, creating products that you'd be lucky to have last you a few years. Datillo products, on the other hand, are made from materials that you could find in any good saddle maker shop, ensuring that they will last you a lifetime. My pricing is very competitive, yet still offers me a very comfortable gross profit margin, average gross profit margin of 51%, with cost of goods sold including materials as well as my labor at $50 an hour. Market size and opportunity. Market research shows that not only are leather goods currently in high demand, but the market has been steadily increasing over the past decade. According to the market analysis tool SizeUp, in the Santa Barbara area alone, $1 to $1.1 million is spent on leather goods annually. Business model and timeline. Datillo Custom Leather Goods is a sole proprietorship in which I currently run all business operations. And the timeline for my business is as follows. Stage 1 is the current stage. In this stage, I'm establishing the framework for my business and using it as a revenue stream while I'm a student. At 19 years old, I'm the youngest one of the group, and I'm currently a student here at City College. Stage 2 is expansion. Once I have my established business, I will turn it into my full-time job and work on creating a brand name for my products. And stage 3 is sustaining a small business. In stage 3, I will increase revenues. In stage 3, I will increase revenues by increasing my prices to a more premium price point based on my built-up brand. And by doing this, rather than trying to greatly increase my production capacity, I'll be able to keep the production of my products under my personal control, while I can delegate other business operations such as marketing, web design, bookkeeping, and other day-to-day operations to other people to allow me to scale. Sales and marketing. Sales will be made primarily online through my e-commerce website, although word-of-mouth sales and referrals, which currently drive my business, will surely continue as well. Marketing will also be done primarily online, focusing on social media and search engine optimization under the advice of mentor Eric Peterson. Get Real milestones. During the Get Real Accelerator, it was my goal to turn my passion into my business, and that's just what I've done. Some of the milestones I've achieved are I have acquired the necessary licenses and permits, I've established a functioning e-commerce website, I've made consistent sales throughout, turning profits at low production numbers, and I've built a small network of advisors and mentors that I did not have prior to this competition. And another milestone that I've achieved that is not included on this slide that I feel is just as important as any is that now, through this competition, I have a much more clear picture of where I'd like to take this business in the future, and I know I have a much more thorough understanding of how to get it there. All right, financial summary. So now I'll take you through a short financial summary for the period requested in the guidelines. So we can see on my income statement that I sold around $1,800 worth of products during this period, which yielded me about $700 net income, which I then invested directly into purchasing materials and improving my equipment, which then in turn increased my business assets, which I conservatively estimate to be right now around $5,400. Support and mentors. During the Get Real program, I've made some valuable connections with mentors and advisors, including John Richardson, my personal business mentor, Eric Peterson of Mission Web Marketing, Matthew Berger, attorney, and of course Julie Sampson, who's always there for overall support to help you make connections and somehow affectionately tear apart everything you think you know about your business. Now, before I move on to my final slide, I'd like to say that this program has been truly instrumental in the development of my business. And even if I weren't to walk away with any award money today, I would feel blessed just to have gotten to participate and meet such amazing people. Now, if I were to win, the money would go to who deserves it, all of the founders. I would take $1,000 of the prize money and give it to each of the other 3 founders whose dedication, success has inspired me to continue through this program. With the remainder of the funds, I would use $1,500 towards creating an inventory, $1,000 towards web design, $1,000 towards advertising. I would invest $1,500 in machinery. I'd keep $1,300 as operating reserves, and I'd give $700 as tithes to my church to thank God for his great blessings and the opportunity to participate in such a wonderful program. Thank you. Can you hand me my water? I'm thirsty.
I
Oh,
didn't
let
see
me bring
any.
these
I
to you
didn't
guys.
see any money up there for the sharks. So
Yeah.
okay.
Here, let me bring these down real quick so you guys can look at them. Did one fall? Oh, it's just over there.
Okay, well, we're going to start asking
Okay,
questions
that's
while
fine.
you're doing that, okay? Okay, first of all, that's what I wanted to see, was a question. So obviously, you're a very talented and skilled craftsman. And, you know, you asked about whether I want to walk into a room and see 4 other women carrying the same purse as I do. For my standard everyday purse, I probably don't care. But this is a piece of luxury goods. And one of the things I'm concerned about in the way you're approaching the market is luxury goods need to be sold differently than commodities.
Yes.
Okay. This is not a commodity, and selling it online may become difficult. So have you thought about the fact that there are many, many retailers in the western states
Yes.
that
So
would carry this?
So the reason I'm priced competitively right now is that you can't really begin to charge premium prices unless you have a brand name that people want to pay for. So, and I know there's a lot of locals that I know, like Steven at MakeSmith. I know he's a Weave client, but he's a great guy, and I know there's a lot of competition, but what sets my products apart is that I can do the tooling. So the tooling is my real, that's what sets me apart, and that's what would make my product a premium product. Oh, it does make my product a premium product.
I'm going to dispute your pricing strategy. Okay, one of the things that you will find almost impossible is to raise prices. And I think that even though you don't have a brand, what you need is exposure. And when you are exposed, like even if you were to take these up to Jedlicka's, which is no longer in Santa Barbara, but is in, you know, Santa
Los
Ynez or
Olivos.
something. Okay, there's a couple stores up there. You want it to start out by screaming to your customer, this is quality and it's priced as such. Because if you underprice it, then I'm going to say, what am I missing? Why is it not? I think it's quality, but your price is telling me it isn't.
Yeah, well, you can look at my price. I have prices inside that tote right there if you want to look at them. That bag that you're holding in front of you is $475.
Okay.
And that bag and the backpack is $455. So they're priced. They're
Okay.
they're priced at what they
So-
should be.
But your margin on them is 51%, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's still something that, of course, maybe that gets adjusted with, sorry, I'm not 6 inches from the microphone. Maybe that gets adjusted as you start producing more of them, because I'd like to see the margin a little bit higher.
Definitely. So right now, since I have I'm not making a ton of them and they're all made to order. If I were to produce 5 at the same time, it'd take me a lot less time.
I'm gonna agree with Kathy here and just and maybe encourage you a little bit, because you have such a powerful family story, and I think that can be such a really great asset for the brand in this age of authenticity, when folks are looking to connect with something that has meaning beyond just the product itself. So I'm going to support my fellow shark here and say you ought to raise prices because of your family. I think you have a great story here.
Well, thank you.
But my question was around pricing, so thank you for answering that. I was just kind of curious, you know, what do you consider your target market? What's the average price, you know what I mean, per like bag they're usually spending? And then how do you think about stylizing and creating for that target market? And just kind of what have you done around validation and your current customers? Those kind of like 5 questions in one. So, you know,
Yeah.
do what you can with it.
So I'd say my primary target market is for sure women, because the bags are what I really like to make. I have men's goods as well. I make wallets, I do belts, a lot of custom tooled stuff. But as far as validation goes, the reason I started doing this was because people wanted to buy them. And it was mostly women who really loved my bags. So, and let's see, okay, there's a bunch to pull apart. Stylizing them, I have a few different styles, like these in the Chrome Excel leather are the more kind of standard model, while somebody who wants more of a statement piece is going to buy the tooled one. So there's different price points for people who are looking for something different. Like those would be more of an everyday carry, while that would be more of a statement, you know? Is there anything I didn't get to in your questions?
No, I threw a lot at you.
I know.
Yeah, no, I was also just kind of curious. I mean, women, I would assume, but just kind of, you know, if do you have a good sense for demographically kind of age and what they want to spend,
Yeah,
and
I'd
what their
say-
average spend is on bags? I mean, how do you fit in that kind of along with what they're saying? Are you priced right? And, are you really kind of honing in on who that market is?
Yeah, I'd say that primarily my demographics probably about 25 to 45, because that's who really likes this kind of stuff, especially the big bags. Like that one is like a working woman's bag. It has a bunch of organization stuff inside of it. So, sorry, there's so much to unravel.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
Where did you get the statistics about the Santa Barbara market?
There's an online resource called Size Up. I went to the Santa Barbara library and I had the resource librarian help me get my statistics.
And is that online sales or things that are purchased here?
That's things
locally?
purchased here in Santa Barbara locally. So I'd be tapping into a much larger market than that.
So then what would your forecast best case scenario success look like? I mean, it's got to be bigger than paying yourself $50 an hour.
So, like, how much do you think I could sell in a year?
What would success look like to you?
Success to me would be a self-sustaining small business selling about $250,000 plus a year, be able to live a comfortable life doing what I love, carry on my family's passion, and carry on my family's tradition of Dattilo men in fashion. Yeah, and that's something that's also kind of, I'm different from the others, as everybody else kind of has like a product that's like big scale, get it out there, while me, I'm more of a small business, and it's like, that's how I want to keep it. These bags are, especially the tooled ones, that's a piece of art. And if I were to increase production to have other people come in and try to do that, it wouldn't be my work. It wouldn't be a Dattilo bag.
You said the magic word, though, sustainable, all right? And so one of the things I'm going to encourage you and each of the other founders to do is to consider financial literacy to be an essential skill for running a business, because there are a lot of assumptions in here that aren't going to play out this way, and that's fine. The first business plan I wrote, my assumptions didn't play out the way that I wrote it. So no question about that. But it is absolutely critical, because what we see with most small businesses is that sustainability is only unless something happens. And as we saw with the Thomas Fire and everything, so many of our small businesses couldn't survive 2 to 3 weeks. So I want you to make it, because I like you. You're a good guy.
Thank you. Well, thank you. Is that everybody?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All good?
Raisa from the foundation, and we would like to say thank you so much. Thank you. And then once again, thank you also to the Chamber of Commerce for the year membership that the winner will get, and also to Impact Hub. Each of the participants actually in the accelerator will get a free month's membership there. All right, so founders then, if you could come up. Thank you.
So again, really, really great job, all three of you. Giuseppe, I asked that last question as far as what success looks like to you. And I appreciate your response. You know, maybe as an investor, I might not appreciate that response as much, but as an individual that doesn't see as many 19-year-olds out there with the type of passion that you have for something that's sustainable and a lifestyle, that's really neat. I mean, I see people that are looking to retire and still trying to figure out what they want to do when they grow up. So kudos to you, and great job.
Okay, Heather, I'm going to give you a little feedback. I think collectively, we all, as we said, understand your product. I think we can all relate to it, and discussing it, we all think you definitely can build a business with it. We were all very impressed with how prepared you were in terms of all your materials. Just end to end, it was really, really impressive, and we really like your plan and your go-to-market. I think if we're going to give any, feedback on it, I think presentation-wise, we'd love to see you be able to get up there and be confident and without your cards and that sort of thing. And I think, everyone has different personalities, so it's not a knock. It's just something that you know your stuff so well. So I think our feedback would just be trust it and go own it. But overall, we really, really enjoyed your presentation. And like I said, your materials are great. So thank you.
Jake, we have to congratulate you just on how hard you're working, the different jobs, and your entrepreneurial spirit, and how you took over the Trader Joe's for your early marketing and customer validation. So congratulations just for having that entrepreneurial spirit. And I think, one thing we'd really like to see is just a better grasp of overall the numbers of your business and of the market itself in greater detail. And we think you'll have opportunity to grow into that. But really got to know your numbers and really have them down pat.
Again, we were so impressed with all of you. Each of you has a viable product, and I think each of you may have different long-term goals, but it is wonderful to see 3 young entrepreneurs up here that we think are all going to be successful in their businesses, okay? So that said, our assignment here was Get Real Shark Tank, okay? And so we have to look at the person that we think through the accelerator process has made the most progress in getting real. And that person is Foot Soles.
Thank you so much, judges, and thank you for everyone for coming, to all my supporters. My goal is just to inspire people to live a life you'd relive, and so that's what I'm trying to do. So thank you so much.
I think additionally, what I'd like to say to all of you is that we really were impressed. And I know for myself personally, if I can provide any advice or connect you to any mentors or anything like that, I'm here to do that, and I think the others are too. So please reach out. We've got a very entrepreneurially supportive community, and you should tap into every one of us.
And to the mentors who are in the room, I want to say congratulations, on all of your contributions that we see up here in the pitches that these students did and in the work that they did with their businesses. And to the rest of you, I want to tell you, if you liked this, this could be you. We have the setup here, the program to take you from idea to startup and to have all the support in between. We don't do it ourselves. We lean on our community and all the experts who give so freely of their expertise and time, and we're so thankful. That brings us to the Sharks. Thank you so much for your time and expertise here, for your offer to go even further with the students with additional feedback and mentoring if they need it. And it's people like you that make this program great. So you'll just have to carry it back to them to say how much we love them, right? So be sure to go back and say, hey, Julie said that you are loved and appreciated, right? All right, I think that's a wrap then. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Sharks. You're welcome to continue networking on the patio.